Hello guys, we are here with you with the second episode of Lumion 10 tutorial. In this episode we will talk about how to import different models and different layers inside Lumion. Pay attention, we choose object in the bottom left, and when we go there it will divide to different categories. Pay attention. When you want to work with any system, for example, if you want to use outdoor and then lighting, with a simple click, we place these objects. If you change the category and go to the nature, you can use trees and other plants. Fine detailed nature, which is tree with a very high quality, which you can see leaves and stuff like that. People and animal, which you can use people and animal as 3D model or 2D. And in indoor, you can use objects that are being used in interior design. In transport, you can add different transportation vehicles. And in light, you can work on your lighting in your landscape. And in effects, it's like smoke, fire, and different type of effect and leaves in your environment. For example, you have fountain as well. And in sound, you can add different type of sound to your environment. Like that. And in utility, you have some tools that are being used a lot inside Lumion. Later on, when we work with them, we will pay attention to them with a lot more detail. And there is one thing, when we want to place objects inside our environment, the normal one is to place them one by one inside environment. If I hold Control, you can place objects in scale. And if you hold V and Control, you can place them randomly. And there is one thing here, that in this part we have 5 different categories. One is object, that I will explain in detail today. And in select, which works with M shortcut, you can move your objects in the environment. You can choose move freely inside your environment. And as you can see, your object is being moved on the ground. And if you have an object inside this environment, it works as a host, which means you can add other objects next to it. For example, let's place a very simple building here. The next thing that you want to add it will go above the building, which the building can host the detail above it. Again, we place M, we select, we can move them freely, just like that. The next one is move up, which you can move them vertically inside your environment with a very simple click. And place them in the height that you want. And with horizontal move, you can move them horizontally just like that, in the same height. And if you choose move free, it will sit on the ground again. And in position, you can select the position specifically that where you want to put it. And there is one thing that I need to tell you guys. In 3D programs, On the ground, your axis is X and Z, and Y is for vertical movement. So very easy, with typing, I can place the height of my object. This tool is very important, and sometimes it can be a very good help. And with rotation, you can rotate your object just like that. And the object is not necessarily tree. You can use it on anything. For example, this building that we just imported here, we can rotate it. And as you can see, I cannot select my building here. The first rule of rotating and moving something is to find the object first. So here, there is one thing. All of them are filtered. So when you're in Nature tab, it will only show your greenery. And when you're in Outdoor, it will only show outdoor, and you can edit outdoor objects. So if you want to move and change trees, you will go to Nature, and if you want to do the building and your lighting, you will choose Outdoor. If you want to change the car, you will go to Transport tab, and if you want to change the light, you will go to Light tab. So it works as a filter for us as well. So we used Rotate for this one, and Rotate contains two different subsets. One is change it horizontally, and we have pitch and back, which move it like that. And if you want to control the speed of the movement, so it will happen faster or slower, you can hold Shift, so it will happen slower, and it moves with a millimeter accuracy. So we delete it, and we delete them. The next option that is very important is a scale, which the shortcut is L. So when we press L, we can change the size of our object. If you go to the Nature tab, you can change the size of the trees like that. So we want to delete them all together. If you want to remove them one by one, you need to click them one by one. But if you want to remove them all together, we hold Control and we delete them like that. Hold Control, open a window, and delete them like that. So when you're holding Control, it will select them in group. But if you want to select another object, the previous selection will be removed. But if you want to add another selection to the previous one, you need to hold Shift as well. So Outdoor is remaining here. We go to the Outdoor tab and we can remove them just like that. Again, let's go to Outdoor and we import some small building inside our area. Like that. We use Rotate to place it here. We choose other type of building. We also choose Nature. We can choose different tabs to change trees. I recommend you guys to try these tabs and learn them. We hold Control to add these trees randomly inside our environment and group. As you can see, one of the trees is on the building and we move them. Let's move downwards, and as you can see, we create an environment here like that. And at the same time, with the options that I taught you guys in a previous episode, we can create some topography here. We create a pit. We add some water. we bring it down, and with paint we change the color next to the water. And as you can see, very easily you can create an environment for your project with just a couple of simple clicks. But the main thing that is here, which is very important, is that when you import your objects, it's better to layer them one by one. So we were on layer number 4. And as you can see, I can click on each layer and rename it. For example, this one is tree. So my trees is inside this layer. And in order to import them inside this layer, if I add any object inside this layer, it will be together in this layer. But if I want to import the objects that I add previously, I can select them, go to nature, hold Control, select them all, and then from this area that is properties for our objects, you can click and you can choose trees. So a very simple click, you just chose the layer, and they all are inside this layer, which is not all inside the layer. So let's do it again. We move all of them inside another layer, and like that. And now all of them are inside one layer. So we did layering like that. Layering got advantages, which is when you're working inside your environment, there is a possibility for you to want one object to remain, and in the next you want to remove it. Or in your animation, you have the object, and in the next scene or shot you want to remove it because the camera is moving. But the next important thing about this layering is that when you're working on a very large scale area, because you have a huge amount of objects, inside here you can see the amount of objects that you have inside this area. And as you can see, nature got 167 and outdoor got 5 objects. So you have a 3.5 million 3D point inside this area and 44% of the graphical usage here. So the next thing is to how control them inside our project. So for example, when you want to work on a specific detail, you can just turn off some objects so the program is working more smoothly. And the FPS inside the program will increase if you temporarily just make some objects not visible. Right now I don't have any problem, but you can use these tabs and these stuff to manage your project. And I will explain properties slowly and bit by bit in next episodes. But for now, in this part, let's remove these. So we use all, which selects all of the options and tabs together. We hold Control and we'll delete them. So we chose all, and it will select all categories together. We go to landscape, and in here, in height, we select flat, and in water we select delete, and we'll remove it like that. And in paint, I can turn it to what it was. And now we want to pay attention to another important topic, which is how to import another object from another program inside Lumion Workshop. The first thing is that you're not limited to import any object inside Lumion program. For example, if you're working SketchUp or AutoCAD or 3D Max, Rhino, even Revit, architecture Revit, and other type of program which creates 3D objects, you can import it inside Lumion. So any object with any program, with any format, you can insert it inside this program. So we clicked import, and I will import the one file that I previously made. We choose Lumion project number 1. So we select it with a very simple click. You can change the object name here, which is Villa, and press OK. And like that, we will enter our workspace. But there is some small details how to add different materials and then the different texture, which I will explain to you later on. Now I have my object inside this environment. As you can see, the object is very deformed and with a wrong angle inside this environment. Let's see what is the reason for that. I open AutoCAD for it, and we check the placement for this object. For example, this object was moving, but the save didn't work properly. I will check the network underneath my object, and it's very important for me to know that if this file is in SketchUp, 3D Max or whatever, it's really important for me that the object is on 0, 0 placement. So we select the object and we move the object on this 0 and 0 placement. So the object entered here, we select it. There is an option that says Reimport model. I just need to click it, and as you can see, the object got imported inside my environment very nicely. So the clamp for my object, as you can see, which is here, if you want this clamp to be specifically under your building, you should save your file and make it to another file and place this on 0, 0 placement on your map, and re-import it again. So now that we have the building inside our environment like this, we can choose materials to place the materials on our building. But as you can see, the building and the model that we just imported doesn't have some materials and classes on it. So pay attention. If you want to import your objects correctly inside this program, you need to place some materials on the previous program before you import it here. So if you do it before importing here, after that it will be much easier to edit it. So we click here and we have two main categories, indoor and outdoors. And various is for greenery, and custom material is those materials that you create yourself or you import it inside the program. And then new is the basic materials that you can use inside the program, which most of them you need to create them yourself. So we go to outdoors, we choose concrete, and we choose one of the concretes that I think it's good for our environment. There are some errors here, which a window and roof got selected together inside this program. I just need to go back inside AutoCAD and recheck it again. And yes, both of them are now together. And as you can see, they're all in one layer. So we need to change it and separate them. In any way, here we separate the windows area. So I just put a box and we separate it like that. And if you press Ctrl S, let me remove some of the walls here, because this is just a starter model and it's not very precise. I just use them on my class and we work together with them to learn how to create models inside AutoCAD. So we press Ctrl S and we go inside Lumion. We go on Import, we click on it and we press Update. Just so easily we update the details and the changes. Now we need to add some objects and materials on a window. So we need to open another layer. So we create another layer here. We activate it like that. And we create a simple box inside window. And with a very simple box selection, we place them inside our area. Maybe you're not even working with AutoCAD and you're working with SketchUp. It's the same thing in every program. And as you can see, I use different type of programs for our model. We use AutoCAD for one part, we use Revit for one part, we use 3D Max for one part. So you need to know most of them. How to create, how to edit, and how to import objects. So in places that you need to add or edit some details on your object, you can easily do that. As you can see, I'm doing some edit on window. I have 2 or 3 more simple windows. We do the same thing for them as well, and we go back inside Lumion to do a very basic material emplacement inside Lumion. For exercise, I will place them in our online group, but I prefer that you do it with your professional program that you're using before. So it doesn't matter what program you use, you just use the one that you previously used. So I have some opening in this area as well, which unfortunately inside this object is lost. But anyway, we can import it just as it is. So we removed this part of our volume as well. simple subtract like that. So the reason that it's happening is because I've add some layers one above the other and they got mixed and this error happened. So anyway, we create an opening here, we press Ctrl S, and as we speak we go back to Lumion, we select the object here and we press update, and as you can see it just got updated like that. Super easy. I just need to select the material, and on this I can just create glass. In outdoor I can choose wood just like that, and that material gets selected. And in the lower part I can choose concrete, but later on in materials I will explain each one of them with more detail, but for now just click and choose a material for it. So as we go forward step by step, I will explain each one of them in more details. So this is the basic of our design. As you can see, there are some simple errors here, but that doesn't matter much. So I just need to go back inside AutoCAD and match them together. Press Ctrl S, go back inside Lumion and then select it and press update. With a very simple click I can resolve every error that I have here. We choose fine detail and we add a couple of trees here. So to add some high quality trees in our foreground. And the trees that we place in our background, we place them with lower detail. And in objects, try to move around a lot. And later on, when you want to place objects in line or in a group or different type in various ways, we will explain them later. But for now, just try to practice this and import a model and try to create an environment for that model. And give texture to your design. We can add some grass, we can give it some wildness like that, we can add some plants and greenery also. Some flowers, some stones. So probably my file just crashed and we'll finish our lesson here. I hope you practice your practices and send them to me so I can correct them. And try to get to know the environment of the program that you're working on. I wish you all a good day and take care.